Hello and welcome back to Bookish. Today I wanted to do a February wrap-up, March TBR, a haul of sorts, and a Mammoth announcement. All in one video. It's kind of a new thing for me. So let me start off with a thing I know about, and that is just to do a real quick wrap-up on my reading from February. First of all, it was Black History Month, so I read titles about African American experience in the United States and by African American authors. I read this collection of poems by Langston Hughes, which I really liked a lot. I read Their Eyes Are Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston, which was really just very, very impressive and great. And I read the graphic novel March series about the civil rights work of Congressman John Lewis. I also read If Beale Street Could Talk by James Baldwin, which I've put on my shelf already and I forgot to get down. So that's my February wrap-up. I had a great reading month in February. I really enjoyed the books I chose. I really just enjoyed everything about it. So then we get to the kind of the TBR, Mammoth TBR haul thing, which is where I run into some trouble. So there was a lot of stuff going on in March that I didn't know was going to be going on in March when I planned my March TBR, which has kind of changed the way my March TBR is going to work. So I've decided and already kind of committed to participating in Marching Mammoths, or March of the Mammoths, which you're supposed to pick a really long book, a book of over 800 pages, and kind of commit to reading that book in the month of March. So the book I chose was the first volume in my collection of Remembrance of Things Past by Marcel Proust. And volume 1 weighs in at about 1,023 pages, and it contains Swan's Way and Within a Budding Grove as two of what I think are the 6 parts of Remembrance of Things Past. And I wish I could say the French title in French, because it's just one of the coolest sounding book titles I think there is. Anyway, I've had these books for a long time. I think when I bought them, this edition and this translation was relatively newish, and you know, I read 170 pages of this one, and then I just kind of gave up. And so this is the Mammoth that I wanted to read this month. But I'm a slow reader, and 1,000 pages of book in the month of March means I have to read average 30 pages a day. If you notice, by the way, I already cheated. Trying to get a little head start here at the end of February, I've read the first 100 pages, which still leaves me around 30 pages a day. Well, to be honest with you, that's going to be difficult, because I don't know if you've ever read Proust. As delightful and wonderful and oftentimes awe-inspiring as it is, it's more than a little bit of a workout. So I thought, okay, well, if I read Proust, what else am I going to do? Because I don't think I can do the TBR I had planned. So as a part of then kind of my plan B, which for some reason I'm describing plan B to you first. As a part of my plan B, I thought, okay, well, I'm arranging things. I will do March of the Mammoths, and I'll participate in the Irish Readathon that's being hosted by several Irish booktubers, and I will list their channels down below. I thought about that because I'd already planned to participate with Alan from Big Hard Books and Classics in his kind of discussion, in his series of discussion videos about James Joyce's volume of short stories called Dubliners, and I will have a video out about the short story Araby sometime soon. I had also thought, well, maybe I can find a short Irish novel that will fit in, and so part of the haul, I'm going to show you the rest of today. I chose the book Brooklyn by Colm Toibin because it's not very long, and to be honest with you, I've already seen the movie, and so I'm hoping this goes really well. And also, I had already kind of made plans to read an Irish epic, from ancient Ireland, called the Táin or the Toin. I can't remember how you say that exactly, with Crystal from Biblio Atlas. So I thought, okay, well, that's a lot of Irish reading already. I also ordered a short story book by Edna O'Brien, and I have a lot of short story books by William Trevor. So what I thought was, my plan B, which again, for some reason I'm talking about first, would be to read Proust as my Mammoth and hopefully get through it, and then just kind of participate a little bit in the Irish read-along by reading The Tame, by reading Brooklyn, and then by working with Alan from Big Hard Books and Classics to do videos about the short stories in Joyce's Dubliners, and then maybe a William Trevor story here or two, or an Edna O'Brien story here or two. So that's my plan if the reading of Proust goes well. If, however, I ditch Proust early on, which is entirely possible since, as I told you the last time I tried to read Proust, I only got to page 170. If that's what happens, then I'm going to go back to what was my original Plan A. So my Plan A TBR for March was to read the novel Ohio by Stephen Markley. I also was going to read Manhattan Beach by Jennifer Egan because I haven't read enough Jennifer Egan, and this one sounded interesting. And then I was going to read some nonfiction. My favorite Twitter historian is Kevin Cruz, and he has a new book out called Fault Lines along with Julian Zelizer, and this is the history of the United States from 1974 to present. And then I was going to read An Indigenous People's History of the United States by Roxanne Dunbar Ortiz. That was going to be my original March TBR. So if I bail on the Mammoth read, then that I will probably go back to that TBR. Son. Additionally, then, I got some other books in today I just wanted to share with you to let you know I'll be reading these books at some point in the future. If you watched my Buy the Bet tag, you know that when I got to J, I listed 3 authors whose books I wanted to read. So I bought a copy of Black Leopard, Red Wolf by Marlon James. I've been watching a lot of interviews with him on YouTube. I also bought The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin, because this summer at the very least I want to kind of have a fantasy summer and read more fantasy books, and I've heard great things about these, and obviously she won the Hugo Award. And then also I bought Seeing Unburied Sing by Jesmyn Ward. So that was the rest of my haul for this month. So as you can see, I've overcommitted myself. I have no idea what I'm actually going to end up doing, and we're just going to kind of wing it through the month of March. I guess best case scenario, I stick with the Marching Mammoths, finish Proust, and then, dabble in the Irish read-along. Anyway, let me know what you think about my plans or my lack of plans, and as always, thanks for watching.